someone criticizes your work, not even harshly. Maybe they just question one decision that you made, and before you can even think about it, your heart is racing. Your face gets flushed and your mind is already building up defenses, lining up all the reasons why you're right and they're wrong. That reaction, that instantaneous surge of defensiveness, is something we all experience. And generally we assume that that's us, that's who we are. But what if that reaction isn't actually you? In the previous video, we talked about what identity crisis actually is and why losing your roles feels like losing yourself. But today we're going deeper because there is something driving most of your reactions for your entire life that you might not even realize is there. Today we're covering what ego actually is, why it becomes your whole identity, what it looks like, what it's running the show, and that one question that can change how you respond to almost everything. Ego is a word that gets a lot of reactions. Some people hear it and instantly think arrogance. Others hear it and think confidence. But ego is actually simpler than either of those things. Your ego is simply your sense of self. It's formed by your thoughts, your beliefs, your personal stories. It's the collection of everything you think you are. Like, I'm the smart one, I'm the responsible one, I'm the one who always holds it together, or whatever it is. The thing is, none of that is really bad. Your ego is a natural and necessary part of being human. It helps you set boundaries, make decisions, navigate relationships, and without it, you couldn't function. So the problem isn't having an ego. The problem is when you believe that your ego is your entire identity. Think of yourself as an iceberg. Above the waterline is your persona. It's how you present yourself to the world. Below the surface is your ego. That's that story that you've built about who you are. And deeper still are parts of yourself you may have never examined, like the shadow. Most of us spend our entire lives operating from just the top two layers, curating how we look on the outside and defending the story on the inside, and we never go deeper until something forces us to. In the first half of life, building your ego is exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Figuring out who you are. You're trying on identities, learning where you end and where other people begin. That's just healthy human development. But somewhere along the way, the ego outgrows its purpose. An ego that started out helping you navigate the world starts to run the show, and it becomes a whole identity instead of just a part of it. When that happens, everything becomes a threat. So someone disagrees with you, it's a threat. Someone doesn't acknowledge your effort, threat. Someone succeeds where you didn't, threat. The ego starts needing enemies to define itself against. I'm right because they're wrong. I'm good because they're bad. And here's the irony. The more the ego inflates, the more fragile it becomes. The bigger it gets, the easier it is to shatter because it has more territory to defend. In my own life, for years, a significant part of my identity was built around being a leader. I was in ministry. I was overseeing teams, running services, making decisions that shaped a community, and my ego was deeply invested in that role. I'm the capable one. I'm the wise one. I'm the one that people look to for direction. Then I lost that role due to internal politics, power struggles, just things I couldn't control. And my ego didn't just lose a job when that happened, it lost its primary source of identity. I noticed it showing up everywhere after that. Someone would offer a suggestion about something I was handling, and I'd feel that surge, that tightening in my chest, the defensiveness, the instant need to prove I had it under control because I know what I'm doing. Even in small moments, someone might criticize how I do a basic household task, something that should not matter at all, and I felt my heart race. The thoughts start festering and anger builds over a household task. It wasn't about the task. It was my ego still protecting that identity of the competent one, interpreting a minor critique as, "You're not good enough, you suck at this." The worst part was that I didn't see it happening. The reaction was so automatic that I was already defensive before I had realized I'd been triggered. That's how ego works. It's not just for me, it's for all of us. Here's another example. A guy prides himself on being the responsible sibling, handling the family finances, managing his father's care. His sister suggests getting a second opinion on the care plan, and he snaps. "I've been managing this fine for 2 years. His reaction has nothing to do with the care plan. It's his ego protecting its role as the capable, reliable son. A suggestion felt like a criticism of his identity. These reactions are automatic. Nobody chooses to get defensive. The ego activates before you can even think about it. If this is clicking for you so far, hit the like button. It helps other people going through this find the video. So why is ego so difficult to deal with? 3 reasons. 1, it's invisible to you in the moment. You don't experience ego as ego. You experience it as being right. I'm not being defensive, I'm being accurate. 2, society rewards it, standing your ground, being tough, not backing down. We celebrate ego-driven behavior all the time without calling it what it is. 3, it feels like survival. When your ego is threatened, your brain responds like it's physical danger. Heart rate up, tunnel vision, fight mode. Your nervous system literally cannot tell the difference between someone questioning your competence and an actual threat. That's why you can't just decide to stop being reactive. So here's the most useful thing I've learned about ego, and it comes down to one question. The next time you feel that familiar surge of defensiveness, the racing heart, the tightening chest, and the mind scrambling for a comeback, pause and ask, is this about the actual issue, or is my ego feeling threatened? This one question changes everything. Because once I started asking it, I realized most of my strongest reactions had much less to do with what was actually happening and much more to do with my ego protecting a story about who I thought I was. And when I could see that, really see it, I could let the reaction pass. Instead of reacting, I could respond, or sometimes not respond at all. That's the difference between being reactive and being resilient. It's not about getting rid of your ego. You can't, and you shouldn't try. It's about seeing it clearly enough that it stops running the show without your permission. This isn't just personal. When you recognize the pattern in yourself, you start seeing it everywhere. Politics, families, workplaces. You stop taking things as personally. You get curious instead of combative. You realize most people aren't attacking you, they're defending their own ego just like you've been defending yours. So, who are you minus your ego? In the last video, we looked at what happens when your roles disappear and your sense of self falls apart. Today, we went deeper into the internal structure that makes you so reactive, so defensive, and so fragile when those roles are threatened. And the answer is the same. Conflict happens when your ego runs unchecked. Freedom happens when you see it clearly enough to choose. The one who notices the defensiveness, the one who can see the ego doing its thing, that's the real you. And that part doesn't need to defend anything. This is chapter 2 of From Reactive to Resilient. The Kindle edition is on sale right now, link in the description. And if you want to start practicing today, download the free Calm Method Quick Start Guide, also linked in the description. Next video is on chapter 3, the mental patterns and stories that run on autopilot beneath your ego. So if you've ever wondered why you keep reacting the same way to the same situations, that's what we'll unpack. Subscribe so you don't miss it. I post every other Sunday. If this helped you see something you hadn't noticed before, tell me in the comments. I'll read every one. See you in 2 weeks.